Hi everybody, this is Ches from Retro Nirvana Gaming. Today we're going to do an awesome video on the Game Boy Advanced. So we're going to go over my current setup. We're going to go over all the games we have, the consoles or handhelds, and then we actually got some stands in the mail, some 3D printed stands. So we're going to decide which games go on the stands. Alright, so here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, I kind of keep my Game Boy games over here in this area, and they are in these cheap display stands. They're kind of translucent. They don't look too great, and so I do keep all my Game Boy Color consoles there, along with a whole bunch of other handhelds. And so we're going to improve this situation, get rid of those plastic stands, and we're going to put those really awesome black 3D printed stands for the GBA there instead. So let's take a look. Okay, so as you can see here, I keep most of my Game Boy Advance games right in this container here. So this is a gigantic plastic tub with all these little sections here. So we have all the games right in here. Those are just the loose ones. So there's got to be, I don't know, 60, 70 games in here. So they're stacked like 4 high times. There's got to be like 12 or more sections in here. So there's a lot of games in here. These stands I actually got from Amazon. You can also get them from Etsy. But there's all his social media on there. So I just got that in the mail today. And these were $25 each. I thought that was a fair price because they seem to work really well and they have the little notches, so it keeps the game secure. So I think it's pretty cool. All right, so we're gonna go over the consoles first, starting with the AGS 101s. So the first one is the AGS 101. It's a like light blue color. So this one I actually got from Savers a long time ago. This one was very cheap. I think it was under $20. It's an AGS 101, and it is backlit. And inside here, we have my favorite game that I always keep in here, which is Fire Emblem. Authentic version of Fire Emblem. And so next, we have the light blue or dark blue one. This one is a regular 001. It's nice though, hinge works well, and it has all of them have really good battery life. Next is the darker, like kind of graphite one. This is a 101 model as well, so it is backlit. It says right over here, somewhere over here, AGS 101. Yeah, right here. You can see it. Yeah, AGS 101. And then my original GBA try that again. I'm dropping stuff. GBA SP. This is the one I got from Toys R Us a long time ago. It's just the silver one. It's the first GBA SP I ever got. So this one is not backlit. It's just regular. Okay, so the first part is going to be all the games that we have complete in box. So we're going to start from the bottom here. So the first one is Super Mario World. This is a copy I've gotten from Toys R Us from when I was a kid, or a teenager really. This copy is really, really mint, and I've kept it in the box protector for a very long time now. I love that game on the Super Nintendo, so of course I love it as well on the Game Boy Advance. Next is Spyro Season of Flame. So this is Spyro 2. This one we got for pretty cheap from a convention. It's actually a really nice shape, and it's a pretty fun game to play. Next, we have Super Mario Super Circuit, one of my favorite Game Boy Advance games. When I first got that game from Toys R Us, it was pretty much a brand new Mario Kart on a handheld, and super fun to play. Graphics still hold up to this day. Next is Simpsons Road Rage. This one is actually sealed. It has just a little bit of damage on the side, but otherwise it's in very nice shape. So yeah, love to have some sealed games. It's always nice to have those. Another one that's partially sealed is this Cartoon Network Block Party. So this one is not really my personal favorite type of game, but we keep it on the collection anyway because we got it for a pretty good price. So obviously nothing to complain about with that one. Next is Final Fantasy IV. So that's what that one looks like. This one I got from Retro Games Plus quite a while ago. These are pretty cheap back in the day. And I had to have them because I'm a big Final Fantasy and RPG collector. So, of course, I have to have those. Next one is 6, Final Fantasy VI Advanced. So this one is partially sealed as well and in really great shape. Very happy to have this one, and I think has gone up quite a bit. I think more than any other game, this is the one that's held its value and actually gone up the most. Another one we have here is Super Mario Advance. So this one is like playing Super Mario Brothers 2, except for obviously it's on a handheld and you can take it with you. And it's also remastered, so graphics are really much improved over the Nintendo version. So those are all the boxed games we have for the GBA. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we're going to go right into the actual collection of the loose games for the GBA. So my favorite game of all time is Fire Emblem for the GBA. At least for the GBA, it's my favorite game. So that one's going to automatically go on the rack right at the top. Okay, so next we're going to go just from the left to the right, straight into it. We have Castlevania Circle of the Moon. So it's a very good Castlevania game. I would say this one should also go on the rack for sure. Castlevania is very high quality. We got Mario Pinball Land. This is a quirky little title for a Mario game where Mario plays as the pinball. It's actually a really, really fun game. It's not a super expensive game either. Just kind of like a really fun game to play. So I say if you're interested in pinball and you like Mario Brothers games, check it out. Next we have The Little Mermaid. I would say that one is not going to go on the rack. There's nothing too special. Next is kind of a little bit of a heavy hitter for the GBA. This is Gunstar Heroes. So this one I'm definitely going to put on the rack somewhere over here. So actually going to put it kind of over here on the bottom. It is a really good game. Okay, so next we have Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers Classic. So this is the classic NES series one. So that we're going to put on the bottom also. I think that one definitely deserves to be on the rack. Next we have Monopoly. That one is probably not going to go on there. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Haven't really played that one yet. It's a Ubisoft game. We're probably not going to put that on the rack either. Next is Boktai. This is actually a pretty rare game having to do with vampires and sunlight. And it has a really cool translucent shell. This game is actually worth quite a bit. I picked this up at Goodwill quite a long time ago at this point. And I feel like this definitely should belong on the rack as well. So we're going to put that right there. Next is Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. This is a fantastic Kirby game. I would say it definitely deserves a place on the rack or on the display. We have Pac-Man Collection. This one's okay. I wouldn't say it necessarily belongs on the rack to show off, but I think it's a pretty decent game overall. Next we have Lufia and the Ruins of Lore. So this is an Atlas game. Lufia is a turn-based RPG. Super fun. So I'm going to put that actually right next to Fire Emblem on there because I think it definitely belongs up in the higher tier of games for the GBA. Okay, so next we have Donkey Kong Country 2. The label's a little messed up. I actually got this from Goodwill for a pretty good price, but I think overall it's a good game. So that's going to be a maybe on that one just because the condition. Next is Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. This is definitely one that should belong on the rack next to the Amazing Mirror. So we're going to put that right next to it. Okay, so next we have The Adventures of Link, Zelda 2 Classic Series. Of course, this one belongs next to the Mario Brothers on the bottom here. So I'm going to put that right there on the bottom. I'll show you, once this video is over, I will pan to all the games on there and we'll set it up really nicely so you guys can take a look. Next is Breath of Fire 2. This game is very underrated. I feel like it's a pretty difficult game, but it's actually really fun to play. So I'm definitely putting that one on the rack. Along with Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. That is another classic Mario game. I feel like if you're collecting for the GBA, this is a game you need to pick up for sure. So definitely going to put that up there with all the Mario games over here. Fantastic. Next we have Crash Bandicoot Huge Adventure. I actually forgot I had this. I got to go back and play this one because I don't even remember this game at all. But apparently it's a Crash game, and I forgot I even had it, so I'm going to have to take a look and let you guys know what I think about that one. Okay, so next is Harvest Moon, More Friends of Mineral Town. So this is a pretty decent Harvest Moon game. That one's going to be a maybe for me on the display because there's a lot of other games to go through. So we'll put that as a maybe at this point. So next is Mario Golf Advanced Tour. Pretty decent Mario game. I would say that one is going to be a maybe on the list. Next, we have a reproduction game. This is Mother 1 and 2. And I actually picked this one up at a convention. I think they were selling this one along with one of the Mother 3 for like $20. So I thought it was a really great deal. It even came with the little carrying case on there and everything. So I said, why not? You know, I love those Mother games. Earthbound, also known as Mother 2. Fantastic game. So just to get like a portable version of Earthbound, definitely worth it for that price. Okay, so next is Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. I love the cover art on this cartridge. I think it's phenomenal. So I'm definitely going to put that one next to the other Castlevania game on the bottom of this rack here. That one is actually worth quite a bit at this point. So I would say I would like to display that on there. So next is Sword of Mana. I am a big RPG fan, and of course, I love Square Enix games, and all the Mana series are actually some of my favorite games, so definitely going to put this one on the rack next to Breath of Fire. Okay, next we have Spyro Season of Ice, a pretty decent little platformer. That one's going to be a maybe. Same thing with Spyro Orange, the Cortex Conspiracy. So that's another one that we picked up. It's a pretty cheap little game, so that one's going to be a maybe. So now we got Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. This one is definitely a must. So I would say I'm going to put this next to Sword of Mana on the rack over here. And I think that's a good choice because there's a lot of great tactical combat in that one. Strategy combat. So I think it's a really cool game to put on the rack. Next is Super Puzzle Fighter 2. I think out of all the puzzle games for the GBA, this one's my favorite because I love Street Fighter, I love Capcom games, and this one is actually a really fun puzzle game. Alright, so now a game that every collector should have on the GBA because it's one of the best games besides Zelda is Golden Sun. So this actually just came out on the Switch Online, 1 and 2. This is the first one, and so I've had this one for quite a while. And it is a very good game. So we're definitely going to put this on the RPG rack right here. Next to Harmony of Dissonance. Yes. Okay, so next we have Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. So that one I'm actually going to pass putting that on the rack for now. Because we have a lot of other choices. So that's a maybe. But we'll see what else is on there. So next is Earthworm Jim. This one is phenomenal. It's basically almost just like playing the Super Nintendo one. I love this game, so I'm actually going to put it on the rack, kind of in the middle of the second rack there. Of course, I love Breath of Fire, so I had to have the first one as well. So that one's going to be on the RPG rack as well, in the middle here, next to Sword of Mana and Golden Sun. So I'll plop that one down right there like that. Okay, so next is Mother 3. So we're gonna, I'm just gonna show you this one. This one's gonna be a maybe as well because it already kind of has its own case, and also it's a reproduction. So you know, I'm gonna skip putting those on the rack because I'd like to keep it as authentic as possible. So we shall see. Okay, so next is a game that is also in my top, I would say 3 games for the Game Boy Advance, and that is Metroid Fusion, which I love playing this game. I actually played on the Series X with developer mode using RetroArch. And so you can play that game full screen. It looks phenomenal. Those kind of games play really well on the big screen because you can really see the pixels and all that stuff. And they have aged very well. So next is a Pokemon game. So we have Pokemon Leaf Green. This one is not in the best shape. The label is a little bit scuffed, but I think overall it displays pretty well. So we're going to put this on the way top here. There we go. Okay. So next is a Star Wars game. We have Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So with this one, we're probably going to skip it. I haven't really played it, and so we're going to skip that for now. So that's kind of in the maybe pile. Next one is Klonoa, Empire of Dreams. This one is pretty decent, so I'm gonna put this on the probably in the middle here. All right. So next we have F-Zero GP Legend. Pretty decent racing game. I've gotten this one pretty recently, within the last year or so, and it's in really minty condition. So this one's pretty cool. I would say I'm gonna put this on the bottom of the RPG rack, and that's a cool one to display on there. So next we have Jazz Jackrabbit. I don't remember where we got this. I think we got this either from Retro Games Plus or from the Goodwill, but I don't remember playing that too much, so I can't really tell you too much about that one. Tetris Worlds. Everybody loves Tetris, so we're actually gonna put that in the maybe pile and see what else we have here. All right, so next we have Donkey Kong Country 3. This one is a phenomenal game. So I would say this one is definitely going to be a maybe, but on the higher side of maybe. Now, here's a good one, Gradius Galaxies. So this is another shoot 'em up by Konami. And I would say, you know what, this one definitely goes on the rack because it's actually a pretty solid title and adds a lot of variety to the collection. So I'd say, why not? Okay, so now we have the Metroid Classic series. So this is another good one. I would say that is definitely a maybe on the pile there. And then we have, oh boy, a dog bit and shoot up version of Fire Red that we got from Goodwill. It actually still works amazingly. And for what it is, it's actually not in terrible condition. It actually looks pretty decent considering this was in a dog's mouth at one point. So that one we're probably not going to display, but that's okay. At least we have it. One of Lulu's favorite games is Pinball of the Dead. My wife. She absolutely loves this game, and so that one will probably go on the rack as well. This is one of our favorites. So that one's going to go on the bottom of the pile there, but it's actually a really, really great game. Okay, so we have a lot of other choices to make here. This is so far kind of a tough choice because we have a lot of great games and not enough space. So we might have to reconsider some choices. So we have Zelda Classic NES series. This one is obviously a remake of the Nintendo version of Zelda. So we're going to put that one, we will put that one on there as well. Very good game. Okay, so next we have Pokemon Emerald. This one is a very expensive game at this point. And I would say another game I've gotten from Goodwill in that lot of Pokemon games. So I will say that this one would definitely belongs on the rack. So we're going to put that on there. Along with Ruby. That is a really great game as well. So I'm going to put that one on there. Pokemon Pinball. I haven't played this one too much, but it's actually a really great game from what I remember. I do love pinball games, so I feel like that one is a pretty great game. So check that out when you get a chance. All right, so next we have a game that I thought was an authentic version when I bought this on Mercari, but it wasn't. And that is Zelda the Minish Cap. So this is a game that kind of frustrates me because I thought I was going to buy this game and it was going to be an authentic copy, and it is not. So that's unfortunately, one of the worst things about buying online is that you can get scammed. So as you can see, it looks pretty authentic, and yet when you hold it and you actually look up close, you can see that it is actually a reproduction copy, which I did not know at the time. And so this is probably the only time that this would ever happen, but it did happen to me, and it can happen to pretty much anybody. So you have to just be careful and look for the right details when you're buying a Game Boy Advance game. Also, I would say if you do buy it through eBay, because if you get a fake, you can always complain to eBay, get your money back, and it will not look good for the person selling it to you. Okay, so next, a classic, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Four Swords edition for the GBA. This one, without a doubt, is going to go on the rack. So this is one of my favorite games. I used to own this version with the box and everything as part of my collection, and for some reason I don't have it anymore. Like, I had it with the box and everything, and now I don't, unfortunately. So next is Super Mario Advance, Super Mario Brothers 3. So I would say this one is phenomenal as well. This one's definitely going to go on the rack because it's one of the best games on the GBA. I would say a lot of people say that this is one of the best games of all time. At least the NES one is. So yeah. All right, so moving on, we have Sonic 2 Advance, pretty decent port of Sonic, and then Mega Man 02. So this is another good one. I would say that one definitely belongs on the rack. It is a little bit different than all the other Mega Man games, but it's still pretty cool. Okay, so next, I know we're going rapid fire with these, so just hang on. Zelda 2 Classic Series, really great game. I'm actually going to keep this one off the rack for now, and we'll make some tough decisions in just a sec. Mario Party Advanced. This is, I think, one of the only Mario Party games on the Game Boy Advance. Star Wars New Droid Army. We have that one in there. I don't really play it too much. And then we have Mega Man Battle Network White 3. So this one I would say is also a maybe, because we have some heavy hitters coming up in just a sec. You'll see why. Okay, so Final Fantasy 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls. Yes, I would say this one definitely belongs on the rack. So we're going to put that on there. Fantastic. So then we have the Spyro 2 Season of Flames. This is the one that I had in the box before, so we're going to skip that one for now. Tai 2 Tasmanian Tiger Bush Rescue. This one is a pretty decent little platformer, not too bad. Shrek. It's a Swamp Kart Speedway. So I think we got that at Goodwill. So decent game for sure. I wouldn't say it's in the top like 200 best games or anything like that, but pretty decent for what it is. Okay, so now here's another game that I would say is in my top 3 or top 5 favorite GBA games, and that's Metroid Zero Mission. So I've beaten this game. It can be quite tough, especially at the end, but I absolutely love it. I'm a big Metroid fan, and so that is definitely going on the rack there. All right, so next we have F-Zero Maximum Velocity. This is the copy, actually this is my upgraded copy. This is actually the first giveaway I did on this channel when we got to, I believe, 25 subscribers. So this one was the upgraded copy. It is a legit copy, and the label looks actually really nice. And so this one, just for sentimental sake, we're gonna keep this one on the rack because it reminds me of this channel, and it also reminds me of happy times. Okay, so next is Mario versus Donkey Kong. A pretty decent little game there. So that one we're definitely putting on the rack here as well, because that one is actually bringing out that game pretty soon. I think it's in March, either February or March. They're bringing that game out. So that one is pretty cool. I would say take a look at it when you get a chance, because there's a lot of really great puzzle elements in that game, and it's super fun. Donkey Kong Country for the GBA. I'd say this one definitely earns its spot on the rack. So let's keep that one next to Zelda right there. And I think that one's pretty well deserved right there. Okay, so we only have like 5 spots left on the rack, so we're gonna have to make some tough choices here. Okay, so we have Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku 2. I would say this one is a pretty decent little GBA game, but I would say not worth putting on the rack, at least for me. Then we have Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku. This is the first one, and that one I just showed you before that is the second one. Okay, so next we have Yoshi Topsy Turvy. I would say this one is pretty cool, so I would say let's put this one on the rack for sure. So this one has, we're going to put this next to Leaf Green, so we're going to have 2 cool green cartridges right next to each other. I think that works out pretty well for displaying it. And another really great game is Wario Land 4. So this one is one of the only games I don't have on the rack, in the box. And so, pretty cool game. I'll have to check to see if this is this is a legit copy, because I can see the little watermark on there. It says number 34 on there. So this is definitely a legit copy. Okay, so yeah, this one's really fun. I would say one of the best Wario platforming games. I do have a bunch of them in the box, so I do have the first and the second one from my childhood in there, and so I would say that one is definitely going to go on the rack there. All right, so next is Operation Armored Liberty. I have not played this game, so I have to check it out when I get a chance. Let me know in the comments if you've played it and if it's worth playing or if it's not that great. Okay, so we got 2 more games left, and we have 2 more spots left. So let's see if these 2 games make it to the rack or not. All right, so the second to last game is Yoshi's Island Super Mario Advance 3. This is a no-brainer. This has to go on the rack. It's a great Mario game, and I would say it looks phenomenal on the GBA. So I'd say let's get that on there. Okay, and then we have the last one is Fire Emblem and the Sacred Stones. So if you know anything about me, you know that I love Fire Emblem. And so, of course, this has to go on the rack as well. So that's going to be the entire GBA collection. So I'm going to pan to the camera and or to the racks in just a second, and that way you guys can get a closer look at what it looks like. So here we go. Okay, so here's the whole rack here. We're going to go through each game. We have Pokemon Leaf Green, Yoshi Topsy Turvy, Zelda A Link to the Past. We have Zelda Classic Series for the NES, Yoshi's Island Super Mario Advance 3, Wario Land 4, Donkey Kong Country, Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Next row is Mario and Luigi Super Saga, Gradius Galaxies, Klonoa, Empire of Dreams, Earthworm Jim. Next we have Super Mario 3, Super Mario Advance 4, F-Zero Maximum Velocity and Metroid Zero Mission, Mega Man 02, Mario Pinball Land, Super Mario Bros. Classic NES Series, and Zelda 2 Adventures of Link, Classic NES Series, along with Gunstar Heroes. Okay, now we're going to go to the other rack. This one we have Fire Emblem, Lufia, Kirby and A Nightmare in Dreamland, and we have Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Next we have Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Breath of Fire 2, Sword of Mana, Final Fantasy Advanced Tactics, or Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. We have Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. I love that cover art very, very much. Golden Sun, Breath of Fire, Metroid Fusion. That one's a little scuffed label, but it still looks pretty good. Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, Final Fantasy 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls, Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Emerald is actually behind here. There we go. You can see it a little bit better there. Okay. Last row, we have Super Puzzle Fighter 2. We have the Pinball of the Dead by Sega, F-Zero GP Legend, and Boktai. The Sun is in Your Hand. Okay, so those are all the GBA games that we have put on this display, on these two displays. Okay, so I moved those plastic shelves, and now we have the entire setup right here. So I put these kind of catty corner at 45 degrees. And I think the collection looks really, really cool with the Game Boy colors. All the cool handhelds right here like that. All the way up to 3DS. I have all the GBAs right here, SPs. And then we have the other rack on the other side. I think it looks really, really great. I think it's a big upgrade to what we had before. Okay, I just wanted to thank everybody for watching the video that stuck around till the end. I know it's a little bit of a long video, and I tried to keep it as short as possible, but it is a big collection of games, and I know you guys love looking at the games, and so of course I gotta make sure I show you everything. And so it's a pretty massive collection of GBA games. It has taken many years to collect. I would say close to 10 years. And a lot of the games I have are actually childhood copies. And so I hope you guys really enjoyed taking a look at the GBA collection. It's a very exciting console to collect for. It's kind of like the upgraded version of the Super Nintendo, because a lot of the games came from Super Nintendo, were ported to the GBA and remastered or kind of reworked. And so don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps to grow the channel, and of course you get to watch as a lot of YouTube starts recommending more videos. So make sure you hit that subscribe button when you get a chance, and we very much appreciate that. So we will catch you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Have a good one. Bye.